Caution. A virus has been detected.
The Shy Hat virus detected in the network.
Shy Hat, what's up, man? Thanks for the raid. I'm just about to kick it off here. Give me 1 second. I gotta turn the fan on in my office. I'm somehow simultaneously cold and sweating. It's conflicting. Give me 1 sec, man. All right. What's up, everyone? Hat, what were y'all working on tonight, man? Thanks for the raid. Coming in hot. Let's see if I can do. I need to set up all my auto buttons to like shout out stuff. Oh man, I had a pretty decent day today. Just a lot of running around. So I hope everybody is having a fantastic Monday. Don't have a case of the Mondays. Have a case of the crushing it. So I realized something today in the home lab. I hopped on in the afternoon and was able to look at the how the lab is actually laid out. And if you look at what's going on here, the Kali box actually has a Chasm VNC server, and I completely spaced and forgot Chasm's web-based. So now we actually have a proper connection over to the Kali system. So I did have to go install WireGuard, use the config that Ludus spits out. It connected just fine, and then it was able to connect over to this guy. So we'll be able to do a little bit more stuff. It won't look quite so potato as last night when we were just doing it through Proxmox like this. This was last night, right? Suboptimal. Suboptimal. Let's go ahead and close that. And close that. We don't need any of that stuff now. We got the cool box here. So I use WireGuard from my Kali machine on my host, so I don't have to use the Kali they deployed in the range itself. So I don't have any virtualization software installed on my host. And so the Kali in there works pretty well. I think also, so what I have set up here, as you see, I've also got an SSH tunnel set up to it, which means I can connect with SFTP to it. Bam. So anytime we want to go drop new tools over here, it's a real quick drag and drop procedure. Just take it, drop it. God, I have so much crap in my downloads folder. So, hang on 1 sec, guys. APT's doing APT things. Be right back. All right, Joe, I'm back. Yes, the advanced persistent toddler. So he's currently refusing to go to bed, so he's in the corner right now. I told him, you can stay in the corner until you go to bed. Austin, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. All right, let's see here. I'm a little sad because this is one of my favorite flavors, and this is my last one. Yeah, direct denial of bedtime. Direct denial of sleep. It's a DDoS. The APT is performing a DDoS right now. What hurts so bad is he takes after me. He's my tiny clone. Hush up, woman, I know it. My wife's back there like, yes, he is. Oh, jeez. Diaper denial of stream. Yep. Actually, he's out of diapers. But he's so hard-headed, he'll still have accidents. Kid, it's almost like they have their own thinking brain and they can come up with stuff on their own. Not always good stuff. All right. Let's hear. So I thought tonight we would just kind of tinker around in the Goad lab a little bit and kind of get a little bit more of a feel for it. We did a little bit of stuff last night. What did we do for Nmap? That's right. We just did a quick Nmap scan. Let's see. Let's do a little bit more here. That was just a confirmatory test. So let's see if we can find something else. Let's do 21, 22, 80, 443, 139, 445, 3389. And what else? What might be a good port? That should give us a good range right there. Except I didn't do 80, I did 8 tac. And you know what? I'm going to do something you probably should never do, which is I'm going to run this with T5. Fun story. I actually took down a company's, one of their satellite links. Not satellite, but like satellite to an office, not satellite like in space. Because they only had a 1 gig link to that office. And I thought I could get away with using T5. What happened was I was only scanning for one thing. I was scanning for open NFS shares to see if I could find some, because that's fun ways to abuse those. Well, apparently they had enough hosts over there that T5 flooded that link and dropped that site. So the running gag on my team is that we just recompile Nmap without T5 in it. Hello, Panda. So I figure what we'll do is we're just going to approach this kind of like how I would do a normal internal penetration test. We'll just kind of take it from there and we'll play around with it. Let's do something here. Let me grab VS Code. And let's see how well Chasm BNC actually lets us copy and paste. I'm curious. Do we have to use the clipboard? Hold on. I don't know what I copied last. So just in case it was something embarrassing, I'm going to put it off screen. Actually, it copied it just fine. Look at that. Bam. Cool. So it acts very much like guacamole. Let's go up here. Let's grab some of these things in here. So... I think we can just grab all this. So let's grab this. We'll go start making a list of hosts out here. Grab all this stuff. Excalibur. That's a good one. I love reading the usernames. Thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. All right. So we're just going to grab this real quick. Just grab this Nmap output. I mean, I already know what's in the lab, but I would like to approach this thinking of, hey, I don't know what's in here, and kind of take it from there. So, because one of the things that is going to become difficult if you're coming from CERT, CTF, self-study land, going into active offensive security work, is understanding how to organize your notes and getting used to that. So what I tell new folks is, hey, take more notes than you think is absolutely reasonable. Like, note everything in the beginning. And then as you start doing more cycles, you're going to realize what's the important information to note. And then you can start trimming back. So in the beginning, you just do everything. It's the same way I learned how to drive a stick shift. So I was horrible at driving a stick shift because I would always let the clutch out too slow and the car would just... It looked like I had hydraulics on it from how much it was skipping. So my buddy who was teaching me how to drive, he's like, okay, you're not catching this. So here's what I want you to do. Put it in first. I want you to give it about half throttle and then just let off the clutch and then floor it. And I did that. And then I got to practice shifting. We were in a big, large mall parking lot. Went up and down it several times. Cop came by like, what the hell are y'all doing? I'm like, trying to learn how to drive a stick. He's like, oh, okay, carry on. So we were doing that back and forth. And then actually by going full throttle, I was able to find out how to actually get the control down. So same thing here. You go full throttle plus ultra mode on taking notes. Then you can trim it back and figure out like what's really important. I think that is... just about all that, and that's us right there. 22's open. So this is about what we expected. We expected to see 445, 3389, 445. So one of these servers only has remote desktop open to it, but the rest of them have 445. I think I got netexec on here. I did, nice. So I'm not intimately familiar with netexec's syntax. Let's go mess with it. Let's do netexec SMB. I think we just probably give it a list of targets in here. Let's see. So one thing I'll do, normally I would have saved this as some kind of nmap format. In fact, you know what? Hold on. There's nothing stopping us. Why the hell am I? Let's do this. I'm going to run the scan again. But I'm going to save all this stuff. Hold on. Let's do something. So we'll make a directory called goad. CD over into that. We're going to rerun this nmap scan. Running at T5 doesn't take very long. And then what we're going to do is we're going to save all the various output formats. I'm going to call it, usually I will call this something like, I have a naming convention to these files when I do it. It helps me keep track of kind of what step I was on through it. So I might say this is the internal network, and I'm using the tool nmap. And this is host discovery. And so this is like my first stage. I know that I start with host discovery. So if I need to go back and re-reference these files, like if I miss something in the notes, I know exactly where I need to go pop it and take a look. So we'll let this run for just a second. It doesn't take too long. Now, one of the cool things I'm looking forward to in Ludus is we can have a VulnHub range set up. So I thought it might be neat to set up something like from VulnHub that's set up on a Linux system, so we could have it maybe do like a Docker escape and then go into it and then basically be able to pick different ones. So I need to see how the VulnHub range is set up, because the way I wanted to kind of set it up is VulnHub would be like our DMZ network, and so it's only going to have very limited access to the internal. And then we could say, okay, yeah, so now we compromise the external, which is the DMZ, and then we pivot into the internal. Maybe that Linux machine is joined to Active Directory. There's ways to abuse that. All right, cool. So actually, there's a really cool tool here that I like to use. Where's it? Doop. Haven't figured that out yet. Dude, that's on the goal list, right? Because eventually, I mean, this is what the Goad Lab looks like right now. What I would eventually like it to have is something smaller than this even, where it's just like one machine, like one developer box, maybe a Kali box, a workstation, and a domain controller. And something very small, and actually multiple workstations, because eventually I'd like to have an EDR based lab where I could say, okay, yeah, come do all this, do. So it'd be really fun, because eventually we want to do some more malware development, and we're see about getting things like different shellcode payloads through past those EDRs, have a custom launcher built up. And I think we're going to do it in Zig. Why? Because if I had to start from scratch with a language, I might as well start with something that's kind of like C, but not C. And plus, the guys over at Mr. Docs, is that his name? I remember. Can't remember if it's Mr. Docs or Mr. Knox, or if I'm just thinking of Samsung. Mr. Docs, yeah. I spoke with him. He said if I wanted to kind of use the Maldev stuff as a guide for doing things on stream, that's fine. He just didn't want me to use any of the code snippets. So the idea I had was I would go recreate the code snippets, like get the ideas, and like, okay, well, let's see how we can implement this. It's like, well, shit, if I'm going to go implementing this, I might as well go implement it in a new language so I can get more exposure to it. So I decided to do Zig. And if you think that's crazy, the guy who wrote Mimikatz literally started that project to learn how to write C. And his project to learn how to write C morphed into Mimikatz at his own direction. So, oh wait, I was doing something. There's a really cool tool I like. Nmap parse output. Learning Go for basically the same reason. It's supposed to be easy to learn compared to some of the others. Go is neat, except some of the nomenclature is different. And so, and I get why they did it. I was reading some of the documents and they were talking about, hey, here's why we don't call it like an object. We call it a map, I think. And the reason they do that is because it has things that you would normally associate with an object, but other things that you don't normally associate with an object, like in Java, right? All right, let me copy this. Installation. What'd you do? Yeah, here we go. Let's go run this real quick. So this is a really cool tool. Makes it kind of easy to do some quick parsing of in-map scans. And nice and easy on the terminal. That's why I like it. So let's make a new tmux session. Paste this stuff in. So it's going to clone out the repo and then just CD into it. Oh, wait, we need to install, I forgot, we have to install this. Let's see. Because it uses XML, it takes the Nmap XML output and it parses that, and it uses XSLT proc to do that. Damn it. I still screwed it up. There we go. Yeah, so we can just straight install that. There we go. Cool. And then there was... Yeah, because I want to do is create a link to there. And I'm ashamed to admit, I always have to look up how to create a symlink. Because I forget which order the operators go in. Okay, so it's target and then link name. Okay. Creates a link to a target with the link name link. Okay. So one of the things I've also noticed is you gotta always do this with, you want to do this with full file path. So this will be home, Cali, nmap parse output, nmap parse output. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that in user bin. Call that nmap parse output. Sudo. There we go. So now I have nmap parse output that I can just run from there. Nope, dude, it just run it like... Oh, that was all the commands to run. Okay. There's one other thing that's super helpful, because it does have a lot of commands. You can set up bash completion in here. Okay, so the bash completion is in there. We just have to add the source to it. All right. So let's do this. Yeah, here it is. This underscore nmap parse output. So what's our present working directory? There we go. Copy that. I'm gonna throw that over to bash rc, so that way we can get tab completion, because I love tab completion. And so what we'll do is we'll just throw a source here at the bottom. It's underscore nmap parse output. There we go. Cool. So we'll just X out of that. Awesome. And then one other thing you have to do after you make changes to the background, so you got to source it. What the heck just happened? Reset. Exit. That's weird. Let's run a new TBUG session. There we go. So now if I do nmap parse output, did it not like that? That's unfortunate. Let me just try this. Grab this just to make sure I didn't accidentally have a typo in it. Do it from tilde, because it understands tilde paths. In fact, we'll just do this. Now. Command not found. What's in the nmap parse output? Because this is a very bare bones Kali install, which I get why that's now why Laffin connects to WireGuard from his own Kali VM. I get why sometimes the CSS gets screwed up on GitHub. I think the hurricane rolling through Texas right now might be messing up the internet. It's actually clear skies in Dallas right now, but I've noticed that we've had pretty degraded performance on the internet today. And then also, like on my work VPN, it was running like crap. I have no interest in boilerplate Kali. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go through it for this particular one, and then I'll see about actually saying, oh, maybe there's no complete command. Oh, okay. That would make sense. Hate when they do this. Great. Maybe it's autocomplete? Is that it? I don't know, I want to try it real fast. Sudo apt install autocomplete. Use Nix, they said. It'll be easy, they said. I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's see here. But that does mean I actually need to go reference the docs here. So let's see, examples. So they have lots of really cool examples. There's a list of the commands here. Here we go. So what we want is we want a list of all the hosts in here. And one thing we could actually do is get a list of hosts and ports. So we could combine those together. And that can actually be used as part of a one-liner. Let's see if he has that in here. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so we could do this. He's using this for excluded ports. That's host ports protocol. Really, the one that I use the most is hosts. Because when I'm doing a large network, what I'll do is I'll do some host discovery scans. I'll come through and I'll figure out which hosts are online. I don't really care about ports at that point. Then I'll go through and I'll scan the top 4,000 ports. So, and if y'all know about this, hey, Oni, what's up, dude? And so if you're going through and looking at this, what happens is in map, if you do like the top N ports, it's not like from 0 to that number. It's scanning what it ranks them as. So it went through, and the guys who wrote Nmap actually scanned the entire internet, and they found out these are the ports that are most prevalent and ranked them from most likely to least likely. So if you scan the top 100 ports, it's the 100 most likely ports to be open on the internet. You scan the top 2,000, same thing. What they also found out was if you scan like the top 3,100 something, you get 98% of all ports on the internet. So what I do is I just bump that up a little bit. 4,000 is easier to remember. I'll usually just scan those top 4,000 ports to see what's up. So what I'll do here is, what's that one that I want? It is group posts by TCP ports in a human readable list. That's not it. Where the heck was that one that I wanted? So like we can get a list of common separated ports. So that's what I was saying earlier. When I go through and I'll do this enumeration, I'll get a list of all the hosts. Then I'll go through and I'll scan the top 4,000 ports against those hosts. And then what I'll do, this is a quick and this is a bit of a dirty brute forcey way, right? Because not every port's going to be open on every host. But I'll take the list of all the hosts. I'll take the list of every port that was found open, number-wise. And then I'll run service versions against that combination. And so does it overscan? Yes. Does it underscan? No. It catches everything that we are able to send to it. It's just not hyper efficient. There's somewhere in here where you can actually, and I forget where it is. So you can like search by a list of hosts that have certain ports open. But I tell you what, let's do group by ports. Let's do this. So we'll do nmap parse output. I gotta remember what the syntax is. Okay, so it's the XML, and then yeah, XML and then the command. So what we'll do is we'll do that. The XML is going to be code. Actually, let me cd over into the code. So we'll do nmap parse output, and we're going to tell it do internal nmap host discovery XML. And the command we want to run is group by ports. So when we run this, you see, hey, here's a list of all the ports that are open on 445 and 3389. Here's the ones that just have 3389 open. Here's the one that has 22 open. Well, that's us. We should have excluded ourselves. Hey, Cocaine, we're just tinkering around in the Game of Active Directory lab for now. And we're mostly doing that to get a feel for how does it operate inside Ludus. And then we're going to start here probably when I get back from vacation. So next week I'm going to be on vacation. So no stream Saturday through Saturday probably. And then probably not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday we'll pick up with the streams again. I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to in a probably very questionable internet place. So last time I went to this place, it was so out of the way that it only had satellite internet. And so trying to do anything over satellite internet sucks. Definitely can't stream on it. Dude, I've been looking forward to it. It's one of my son's favorite things. And dude, the latency is so bad. And I had to do a conference call from there one time. And I had to actively tell folks, hey, we're going to do the talking stick because the latency is so bad. You're not going to be able to tell when I'm making like a pause on something. So when I'm done talking, I'm going to say, here's the talking stick. So that way you know I'm done. Like over, copy, Roger. Because I kept stepping on people whenever we were trying to talk. And I was like, I'm sorry, guys. This is the only internet connection I've got. My cell phone hotspot was no better. Let's see. All right, so what we want to do is actually take this list of hosts right here. And let's go clean it up over here. We'll just clean this up. This is going to be all of our S&B ports, and we're just going to do a little bit of discovery with those. So let's do them. And so what I'll do is I'll list these targets by like what their service is. Like targets _ S&B. Call that txt. I'll just drop these in place here. And so now if we want to run netexec, we can do netexec smb, and I think you can just pass it the name of the file here. I don't know if you have to give it a particular specifier. Yeah, there we go. And this will be a little bit of a learning curve for me because I haven't used NXC very much. I've mostly used CrackMap for the longest time. That's funny that it's called Blaze DC01. It's funny. All right, so what do we have? So one thing we got here is we have signing is false. False. And they're running Windows 10 or Server 2012. Well, given that the name has SRV in it, you can usually make some intelligent decisions about, hey, this is probably a server versus probably a workstation, right? DC01's probably not running Windows 10 home, right? Now, one other thing you actually could do is we could actually do an nmap scan against that and do a TAC S. Yeah, we'll do attack SVC just against port 445 on one of the domain controllers. So we'll do 10.3.10.11 through 11. We'll do it on 10.10 through 11. And when this runs, what it's going to do is it's going to do a version scan and a common scripts. And so it's just going to run those two. Now, this kind of combination can take a long time. I would normally do something that's a little bit more concentrated as I'm looking at these different ports, trying to figure them out. I almost lost my marbles one time when I ran a password against all the accounts on the domain, but I passed the host file instead of a single file. So it was doing multiple attempts per password, and I thought I was going to lock out the whole domain. Oh no! So my very first penetration test was a web app test, and I had never had access to Burp Pro prior to that. And the Burp Pro scanner kept hitting the login form, and it kept locking my testing account. So actually, I swore off the Burp scanner for a long time. I wouldn't use it because it was so damn embarrassing having to say, call up my client, like, hey man, yeah, I locked my account again. After the fourth time you do that, you're like, no, you're done. You're done. Oh, this actually didn't tell us exactly what I thought it would. I thought it would give us a little bit more information. A lot of times if the computer is extra chatty, I don't know what causes it. It'll tell you like, hey, here's the full layout of it. This is handy to know though, because again, message signing enabled but not required. That's what we were talking about with relaying attacks. It can be enabled but not required. It has to be required to really stop those relays. Does the TAC-O flag make a difference there? For the operating system, you know, let's try it. Oh, I didn't realize. I never use O, so I forgot you can't mix the two of them. Fine, we'll just do TAC-A then. Screw you. I thought it was SO. Yeah, because I never used the operating system detection. That's fine. We'll just run it with A. We'll see what comes back. Like I said, this isn't like a, hey, I'm trying to do anything in particular. This is a fuck around and find out stream. Dude, I gotta, hang on. I need to do something now. Where can I add hashtags? FAFO. Add tag. You can only enter up to 10. Okay, hang on. So I gotta get rid of one of these. Okay, we're gonna take out the red team operator, and we're gonna do FAFO as a tag. There we go. That is exactly how the stream works. My poor wife, she's a saint. She's out there dealing with the APT right now. I can hear it. OS scan results may be unreliable because could not find at least one. Okay, so typically that might be one of the issues here. Let's do, I'm gonna do 3 ports. We'll do 22, and then we'll also do 139. And I'll let this run. Because typically they're not expecting you to do attack A with just one port. Afterburner orange. I'm kind of sad they took the Afterburner orange off the can. Right now, it's just orange flavor. Right? What do you say? Orange. That's it. It used to be Afterburner orange, and I love that. And sour apple used to be sour apple sniper. Love that. God, you add 2 more ports and the scan time just goes to infinity. Yeah, these are Jocko's energy drinks. You ever know who Jocko Willink is? The Navy SEAL, motivational speaker, leadership coach, all-around general badass. That's his brand energy drinks, and I really like them. They're about the same amount of caffeine as a small cup of coffee, like a 10-ounce cup, and they've got some other good stuff in there. So I'll usually drink one of these at the beginning of the stream, and I'm a fast caffeine metabolizer. I burn through caffeine real quick, so I'm done with this, and I'm ready for bed bike when the stream's over. Wake up at 04:30. Dude, I used to get up at like 4:15, 4:30 to work out in the mornings. But now that I stay up till 1 a.m., that doesn't quite work. Oh, interesting. So 22 and 139 actually came back as filtered. Okay. It's probably because it's running a host firewall. I'm pretty sure they've got the firewall enabled on those boxes. But anyway, let's do... You know what we didn't do? We didn't do proper note-taking. We should have taken the output from NXC and gone and put it in our notes. So let's go do that real quick. What's wrong, Panda? Panda, what's wrong? Are you digging in the trash again? I'm gonna beat you. Get out of the trash. Especially after I gave you those tasty meat bones. Little ungrateful dog. Yeah. Wake up while the enemy's still sleeping. Instead, I just stay up while the enemy's sleeping. I would prefer to actually have that kind of schedule, but this is the only time I can stream, so that's what we do. Adapt and overcome. So I'm going to throw this down here. So we didn't get a ton of information back on this. One thing that can be helpful to get back is these kind of names right here, because we don't know who the DNS server is just yet, right? So actually, let's go do something real quick. Check this out. So one thing we can do is sudo vim etc resolve. What we could do is we can go set our resolver to one of those hosts. Well, actually, hold on. Before we do this, let me quit out of this. What you'd want to do is do a dig test real quick. So. Or heck, we could just do another nmap scan. Why am I making this so complicated? We'll do an nmap. We'll look for port 53 against our targets list. So we'll do IL targets SMB. We'll just see who's got DNS open first. Oh, interesting. So none of them have DNS open? How the hell does the domain work? Filtered. Interesting. Actually, something that might be happening here is we might need to specify, let's try something, a full connect scan, because by default, Nmap, when it does these scans, hang on one sec. Can you just freaking work all that out? Here's what Nmap does by default. Is whenever you are going to make a TCP scan, right? So let's say you got a server, or let's take that back. Let's say you got a client and a server, right? First thing it's going to do is it's going to send a synchronized packet. Good old SYN. The server is going to reply with an acknowledgement and then send its own synchronized packet. And then finally, the server is going to perform an acknowledgement, or the client is. So that's that typical three-way handshake, right? But if we don't need to actually send this acknowledgement packet, right, this is actually kind of optional. We don't necessarily need that to go in there. So this is called the half-open scan, where it just does the send and listens for the send act to come back. So this right here can sometimes not work properly, especially if you have anything in the middle that might be messing with those hops. So you can specify TAC S capital T, that's a lowercase s. And what it does is do a full TCP scan, do the complete three-way handshake. And actually what Nmap will do is it won't send an acknowledgement, it's going to send a reset packet. So that way the server doesn't tie up the resources. So let's try that. If we do it with this full connect scan, do we get a different result? Nope, still does the same thing. Interesting. Well, let's try something else here real quick. Let's try one of these host names here. Let's just see if we can dig for that host. It's not correct. So we'll dig for an A record. Okay, so because check this out, if we cat etc resolve comp, 10.3.10.254 is actually like the internet router in the network, right? It's where everything's going through. So that must be what's happening. So, okay, so that's actually is acting as a resolver, and we're able to get all those host names right there. Now let's see if we can dig for a pointer record to that. Tick 3.10.11. Okay, so nothing came back on that. And if we want to find out, like, because you get a lot of info back here, just throw a plus short at the end. And if it didn't actually get an authoritative response back, you're just going to get a blank. Okay. This is actually another way that's really handy. A lot of the automated DNS reconnaissance tools will do this. They'll go check for pointer records and they'll scan large swaths of IP addresses. And because what happens typically in an Active Directory environment is you have, when a server registers into the domain, you get the host name, right? So then you can go through and it also creates a pointer record to it in DNS, because typically DNS and the domain controllers are one and the same. They can be split out, and more, I don't want to say advanced, but more sophisticated organizations will split them out. Oh, I just heard I got to do something real quick. Hang on one second. I got to go to OPSEC mode. But that's not always one and the same. I find more often than not, the two of them line up. Sorry guys, bear with me one second. Just I forgot to turn something on before the stream. Okay. So yeah, that's one thing I like to do during DNS reconnaissance is say, hey, what do we have for pointer records? What can we find out from this? DNS is basically a phone book, right? So, for example, we looked up that you guys still there? The stream just spazzed out on me. I think it restarted the music when that happened. Okay. Okay, good. I'm in this team now. All right. So you see here, like when I looked up Blaze DCO2, it resolved to 10.3.10.11. Right? Well, in a normal Active Directory environment, in fact, I can show y'all. Let's just go over to like DCO1 right here. So I pop into the console of this real quick. So if we open the command prompt, right, if I do an NS lookup against Blaze Tech DCO2, because this one is DCO1 if I remember right. Yeah, this is DCO1. So if we go look up DCO2, you see it comes back 10.3.10.11. Now, the same can also work here. If I do 10.3.10.11, okay, so it's not set up in here. Weird. A lot of times, this should work in reverse as well. It should register a pointer record from that IP address saying, oh yeah, this IP address is this host in the environment. It might be because these hosts have static mappings and not DHCP. That might be why. I don't know if it's linked to DHCP in there. Well, if Lappin's here, that's all I really care about. But, hey, Ford, what's up? Oh, I forgot to mention, by the way, SM did draw first blood tonight. He was quick on the draw. All right, cool. So anyway, that would be another way that I like doing this. By the way, also checking for zone transfers. I really doubt... Hold on. I want to try this now. I got to remember what the exact syntax is for a zone transfer. Hang on. Dig zone transfer. Yeah, it's AXFR, but I don't remember if you need to give it the domain name. And these guys don't technically have like a domain name. Yeah, domain name in here. See, because I'm not getting back an FQDN. That's what makes me curious about it. Let's do this. What do we come back over to the console? Well, you got to be able to tell. You got to be able to tell the DNS server what domain to transfer to your, right? So the zone transfer says, "Hey, give me a copy of everything you have in the zone." The zone is organized by a domain. Oh no, I was just gonna look at something on here real quick. Let's see, host. Does it give me the domain name? DCO1 local user. I'm trying to remember. Chat. No phishing. Hang on, Chad. I got you. There you go. All right. What is it? What is the domain we're joined to, though? Cheat sheet / dig. Of course, that's a thing. Crap. What is it to echo? Is it domain? Nope. Domain name? Can't remember what it is. Cheat.dig. Let's see. That's interesting. The trace NS search TAC X. Yeah, the thing I'm trying to make sure I know though is like, what is the FQDN of the domain? That's what I need to know. I've got the host name. Wait, hold on. Didn't NXC tell us this? Am I just a dumbass? Yeah, this is what's throwing me off. So typically, if you see something like this, and then you see the host, the computer name, and the domain name match, that typically means this computer is not domain joined. Right here. So hold on, let's look at the Goad layout real fast. That's why. Look at this. DCO2 and server2 are in a single domain. DC2 is in a different domain from DC1. DC3 is in a different domain. So that's why it's showing up like that. Because DC2 sees itself as like the end-all be-all, right? That's why it's showing up like that. Try that in the Kali terminal. All right. Everybody's going to watch me get hacked live by Chad. All right, so curl cheat.sh/dig. That's exactly what the website showed me. No chance of being in danger. Whatever, man. I'm on to you. I know your high-tech ways. Freaking techno wizard. Yeah. Okay, so the zone transfer is not going to work. And it's if it did, what we'd get 2 hosts from the zone transfer, because this would be one zone right here, right? North.7kingdoms.local. So actually, we could try 7kingdoms.local, just using a little bit of meta gaming in here. So if we do a dig AXFR 7 kingdoms.local, is that it? 7 kingdoms.local. Now, did I spell it right? 7 kingdoms local. Crap. What was our resolver? 10.3.10.254. Yeah. Okay, so makes sense. It doesn't have the ability to do that. But zone transfer is another fun thing to look at. I don't see them super frequently. Probably about 2% of the time whenever I'm doing a pen test. And but when you find them, it's great because you basically are downloading the entire telephone book in the network. Control cheat sheet for .any command. Okay, you know what? Hold on. Challenge accepted. Finger. All right, I'm slightly impressed now. Actually had a help page for finger. Touch. Huh. I can spend an entire afternoon doing this because this is some stuff I didn't even know. Set the file or access modification times. Okay, I did know you could do that. That's funny. Hold on. Let's throw the hard stuff at it. Awk. Give me a cheat sheet for awk. Huh. Oh damn. That's not a cheat sheet, that's a cheat book. Awk is really cool, and I only know how to use like 1% of it. I know just enough Awk to be dangerous and deal with CSVs. It's actually pretty legit. Okay, hold on. Let's try an XC. Do you have something for NetExec? Ooh, nothing for NXC. Okay, maybe it's only standard binaries. Let's try NetExec. Plus, it's in the CLI. Yeah, exactly. That actually was pretty cool. I know how to steal awk from other people's repos and use it. Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Doctor. Thanks for sending me down a side quest, Chad. Actually, this is pretty handy sometimes because, like, I forget when I want to, like, open a shell inside a container, certain things like that. I mean, I mostly remember these, but there's a few times I'm like, crap, what order did the arguments go in? I'm a master of not doing what I should be doing. All right. Cool. So the zone transfer idea, kind of bupkis. We got an idea there. So let's see. We need some very basic user credentials. Unfortunately, I think the way this is routing. Let's go look at something. Look at the server. Let's do an IP route tech in on the. Oh no, it's just route tech in. I don't know if I can blow this up. Hold on, one thing I can do. Scale this up a little bit. Make it a tiny bit more readable. Route print. There we go. So what's our default gateway here? 10.3.10.254. So let me try something here. I just want to try something because I'm trying to see if the network topology is truly flat or not. Trace route to 10.3.10.11. Because it should be a direct hop. It shouldn't have to go through the default router. But from my understanding, talking to the guys in the Ludus Discord, these machines are on different broadcast domains. That's why the LLM stuff was not working. Oh, you know what? Traceroute might not be working because ping probably doesn't work to it. Like, for example, when we did our last Nmap scan, right? Like, if we look for 445, right? Which we know they're open. And if I take out the tag PN, it's really just say the server's offline, because I bet it's blocking pings. Yeah. So, traceroute ain't gonna work. Actually, I take that back. Look at this. So see this IP-ADDR 10.3.10.99, right? And we look at all those hosts that we have. 10.3.10, 10.3.10, 10.3.10, 10.3.10. So they're all in the same layer 3 network, but they're segregated at layer 2. So what should have happened here, ARP was going to come through and say, oh, hey, by the way, the hosts in targets underscore SMB, right? Look, they're all in the same network. They're all in the same network as the Kali box. However, they're in different broadcast domains. So let's look at how that's working. Because this is a very important thing to understand. And one of the reasons why I stress understanding the network protocols as they're working, right? Let's clear this stuff out. What if I can contribute to it with stuff like Impacket, Certify, etc.? Oh, for Perl.sh? Yeah, Prefect, if you know... if you find that out, let me know. Like, if they have a GitHub repo to take suggestions, that would be actually really cool. That would be something neat to do, like, as a give back, right? Help other people do this. I know there's some tools. Chad, you probably know what this is. It's the one, it's like built into the command line, and it's kind of like an autocomplete cheat sheet. Was it Exegol uses it? I can't remember the name of the tool, though. But anyway. So what's happening here, right? We've got I'm going to draw something out here real quick. We've got a network switch. And let's say this is connected to a router up here. So this router is like 10.3.10.254, I think. Hang on 1 second. I'm trying to grab that link. Not to worry, I have a permit. This just says I can do whatever I want. App.diagrams.net. Isn't that what Dave Bromble had? He was plugging, or not plugging, but he was saying that he uses in some of his, in one of his short videos, he said he used that. I think that was the same program. Arsenal. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Lappin, I saw that same short from him, and I thought that was pretty cool. So when we start building out the Code Lab in here, I'm going to go try and dig that one out and use that same setup for diagramming how we're going to have it set up a little bit. But here's kind of what's happening. This is our router. This is our switch right here. And what we've got is something like this. So this is our Kali box, right? And then we're going to have like DC1. We're going to have DC2, etc. Right? We're going to have a bunch of servers in here. All these guys are connected to a switch in here. But I think the way to think about this is that they're on different VLANs, right? So this might be like VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30. And I know this isn't actually correct, but this is the kind of behavior we're observing. So for all intents and purposes, this is how the network is behaving, right? So what does that mean? Each of these guys is in the 10.3.10.0/24 network, right? So that covers a little bit of basic subnet math. That covers everything from 10.3.10.0 to 255. So this guy, Kali, is like .99. DC1, I think, is .10. I think DC2 is .11. But what's happening is broadcast traffic's not going through them. Now, in actuality, these two devices are probably one and the same. In fact, I know they are. There's a switch-like fabric running inside Proxmox. But what we're seeing here, though, is Nmap should see like, oh, hey, each of these hosts is in my local network. They're in my layer 3 domain. They should be in my layer 2 broadcast domain. So it's actually trying to do ARP to get those to go through. So because ARP is not working, that's really interesting. Let's try something else. ARP ping. We don't have ARP ping. Of course not. Forgot, this is like bare bones Kali. Install ARP ping. They do laughing, but also I'm trying to explain the process of, hey, here's how you would go about doing this kind of discovery. As it turns out, Shida is just a website. This was on this page, GitHub. Cheater.sh. Okay. So can we just go submit pull request to cheater.sh? Oh, cool. Neat. Okay, so yeah, if you wanted to, over on the chubbandcheat.sh repo, I'll drop that in there. Then, yeah. So if anybody wants to take some time, give back to the community. I mean, probably. Let's see if they have one for Nmap. I'm curious now. I'm sure they would because a lot of system administrators use Nmap. It's not just a elite hacking tool from the Matrix. Okay, cool. But we know the other stuff in here, like NXC, that doesn't exist. That's another bread and butter tool for internal penetration testing, right? Let's see, what's another good one? Like, I try to remember. I usually do all this shit in Docker now. And the base commands, I'm trying to remember. Anyway, let's go do that ARP ping. Let's see. Host IP or MAC. So let's do 10.3.10.11. Oh, we gotta tell what interface. So we'll do tech I0. And we probably have to run this with root permissions. Yeah. So that did come back. Because I was just thinking about it. It was like ARP could not be blocked. Because if ARP was blocked, these wouldn't have any connectivity. So it's weird that Nmap came back with nothing as being online. Because Nmap, if you don't specify anything for host discovery, should default to doing an ARP swing or an ARP sweep for the local network. Zero hosts are up. Okay, hold on. Make it extra verbose. Host down, received no response. Interesting. I wonder why. I mean, it could be defaulting to doing an echo. And guys, I know this might seem silly, but understanding and stress testing tools is something that a lot of people don't spend enough time doing. And it's going to help you troubleshoot other scenarios later, like by doing it here in the lab. We've got an anomaly, we're trying to track it down, right? Nmap post discovery. I can now go to bed for having done my good deed today. Let's see, so where's the default here? Okay, so if no host discovery option is given, Nmap sends an ICMP echo request to port 443, a TCP ACK to port 80, and an ICMP timestamp request. For IPv6, their equivalents, yada yada. The exception for the this are the ARP and neighbor discovery scans, which are used for any targets on a local Ethernet network. So why is Nmap, when all these guys are on a local network, right? Why are they all coming back as unreachable? Because we can ARP ping them. So that's weird. This worked for my scenario time to use that syntax blindly every time. Hey, 60% of the time, it works every time. It's called Sex Panther, imported from Brazil. All right, I'm trying to see here. Cody's vent? COD is vent. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming online. I love trying to guess the usernames. Because sometimes I get it, and other times I'm like, ooh, it's going to be a struggle. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so we found a weird... Actually, hold on. There's no ping, certain port list, ACK-scan. So there's no way to tell it to force and do an ARP scan. So this is really weird. Because what should have happened here... Oh, you know what? I just realized something. So what did we learn, children? What we learned is don't run as a low privilege user, it's overrated. So let's look at what we had here. What was the list of symptoms that we had? Nmap was blatantly returning all these machines as being down, even though we knew they were up, right? We could ARP for them. But first we had tried doing an ARP ping, and it said, hey, by the way, you don't have permissions for libnet link. You might have to run this as root. Only when we ran ARP ping as root did it finally actually make the ARP request. That's because it's writing a packet directly to the link. And so you have to have this libnet link permission, if I understand it correctly. So what's happening here? We're running Nmap, but not with root permission. So it can't send the ARP. So it falls back to probably doing the ICMP request. And that's what I was feeling. And so as soon as we ran it with sudo permissions, bam, there everything came back. So for some reason, layer 2 stuff is working, but we didn't get diddly on responder. What should happen here, if we go back over to the Go diagram, there's this guy right here. Every 3 minutes, Rob Stark should be making a LLMNR query to Castle Black, server 2. So we should be able to catch that. But last night we had this thing running for a long time and it never came up. And I think when we tracked it down, it said this should have been running on DCO2, on Winterfell. Which would make sense. You can't LLMNR from one server to the same, and it's got to be in here. So you have to do it this way. So that's one of the initial foothold methods is you could get that LLMNR. You could then relay that over to DCO2. And you could relay it in a couple of different ways. I would like to show how to do the relay. Ooh, you know what? I just realized something. Hang on. GitHub. Oh, Coercer. This is actually a really cool tool that I came across called Coercer. So this will go through and it will search for all those different coercion methods that you can use to elicit a connection to yourself, right? Awesome. Let's go see if we can get this to work. Python 3 TACPIP install Coercer. Kelly. This is a really cool tool. I got to use it on a recent penetration test, and unfortunately there was no targets to use it against, but I've been looking forward to testing it some more. This will be a primo chance to do that. So, by the way, guys, I know it's going to suck not getting to see y'all for a week, but I got a surprise stream I've got planned. I need to solidify the date. It's going to be sometime after I get back from vacation, because we're going to do something really cool, and y'all are going to like it. So, we also need to work on setting up new C2 infrastructure. So I was talking with the guys in Ludus. We should be able to basically ad hoc add machines to a range and get them to come up. So I wanted to set up just like a Docker host, because a lot of times you can just run the C2 server in Docker, and then we could have the client connection running on our Kali box, just like we did in the RTO lab. So I think the first one I want to mess with is Mythic, because when you start kind of ranking the C2s, Mythic is pretty well up there. But I've never had a lot of success with getting Mythic functioning properly. So I'm really keen on figuring out where I was screwing up and then being able to use that, because I would like to be able to use that in actual pen test engagements. Don't want no dang Metasploit there, man. This is downloading so ungodly slow. And actually, my bit rate for the stream is really slow, too. Like I said, I think the hurricane rolling through Texas is messing up the internet. It wouldn't surprise me, because there's something like 1 million folks without power. So who knows what kind of internet lines got dropped and things are being rerouted. So there's probably a lot more network traffic running through Dallas than there used to be. We'll just chillax for a second, let this install. Sometimes happens. Yeah. Especially in Houston, hurricanes happen. I always so there's always a lot of ripping on Houston in Dallas, and there's always a lot of ripping on Dallas in Houston. And so San Antonio and Austin just kind of do their thing. Austin thinks they're the best, and San Antonio knows they're the best. And so they're just kind of chilling over there. And Dallas and Houston are just kind of duking it out. Well, my buddy, one of my coworkers, lives in Houston, and he sent me a video of some of the rain. And actually, he lives here, but his family's in Houston. He's down there. He sends me a video. I'm like, wait, you're in Houston right now? He's like, yeah. I was like, ooh, double suck. You're in Houston, and there's a hurricane. The Turtle Network, it's on my house every day. I'm on the Turtle Network now. Download speed 6.8 kilobytes a second. I had better downloads on 56K modem. Back in my day, it took us 3 hours to download an MP3, and we were happy for it. God, our phones are so infinitely fast compared to what I had to deal with as a child. Installing build dependencies? Shit, is it gonna have to install more stuff? Install can take for fucking ever. Let me go check something on Proxmox. I want to go see what Debian's doing. Debian's just chilling. Our Debian router is just like, what ifs? So I don't know what the dealio is with the network. I think I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and go take on the Broadcom CTF to find out how to get the free use copy of VMware Workstation, and then use that and have WireGuard go into the network. Because as much as I like this shit's gonna get old real fast. I like being able to just go and deploy Kali in there, but oof. And then it aired out. Yeah, so this is a VM here in Proxmox right now, but this is more or less an ephemeral VM. If I blow away this is called a lab range. If I blow this away, that VM's gonna go with it. Hey, Nodehog, welcome, man. Thanks for coming online. All right, so now we're getting an error, which is we don't know where this is. Hang on, let me see. Dang it, I don't think I did. Damn it. Ah, crap. Let me think about this. Hang on one sec, guys. I'm going to go check something on my other computer because I think I need to make a pull request on this because I had something set up. Hang on. I'll be right back. Go get a drink. Go grab a stretch. Use the bathroom. Give me like 3 minutes. I'm going to go check something on my other computer. I'll be right back. Alright, y'all, I'm back. No, I've been abducted. Wait, they're beaming me back in. I love that stupid little move effect. Damn it. So what I had on one of my other testing systems that is currently offline is I had a Dockered version of this, and that would have been great to use, and this would have been a good example. So we could go rebuild it. I'm going to go look on Docker Hub real quick. Docker Hub. Let's see if anybody's got one in here. I doubt it. Because it's such a niche tool. I didn't spell that right, did I? OE. Actually, here, this guy's got it. Let's see. Updated 19 days ago? Okay, cool. So, Docker is a really hella cool tool, and especially, I like using it for penetration tests, so a lot of my commonly used tools, I will set them up in Docker. Although this build looks... This build looks sus as fuck, though. Usually what I would prefer to have is actually have the Docker container do the git clone. And here's the reason why. See this layer here where it says adding files in to root? That's not cool with me. I don't know what's in files. So, just like any other code, don't go blindly downloading shit from Docker Hub and running it. There be dragons that way. Let's see. I'll tell you what. Let's do something real quick. Like I said, this is a FAFO stream. Let's do that. What's the build process like? Actually, you know what we probably could do is we probably could just run the pip3 inside the Docker container. Yeah, rooted the root. Now, chances are probably 22 is they're probably going through and just copying this folder where it gets cloned down. They're probably just copying that to the root so they can just do /coercer and get to it. Still not my preferred method. I get it, but still, anytime I see the just add files to something, I still get sus about that. If I'm doing this for development stuff, I want that. Like if this is a developer copy of the Docker container, yes. Because I'm making changes, I need that shit replicated over in the Docker container and let it do the build process and go through all that. However, if it's something I'm going to be running, it better come from a pretty damn trusted source for me to believe that. Hello, Panda. So what we could do, actually, is we could make this a little bit simple right here. So let's go set that up. Set up Docker. Yeah, we could just use Docker IO. There's also Docker, so there's two flavors of Docker you can typically get in Linux. Docker IO is the one from the official like Kali repository. They're controlling the version of that. There's also Docker CE, Community Edition, and that you have to actually go add the apt repos from Docker and pull those from there. There's not a great benefit to using one over the other, except the Docker CE stuff is going to be more up to date. But 99.9% of the time, Docker IO is going to have all the functionality you need. Yeah, so I think 22, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to just create a quick Docker container, and all it's going to do is it's just going to pip install that, and then be good with it. So let's see about setting that up. So we're just going to do, this is the one thing I got to remember, Docker enable. Let's go grab over here. Let's clear all this shit out. Let's do sudo apt install docker.io. let this install real fast. So one of the reasons why on something like this, a virtual machine, where you can get away with using Docker in here, it's a lot better doing this on a Linux system because Docker was made for Linux and it doesn't need like an additional substructure like on Windows where you're actually running it in WSL against a virtualized Linux kernel. In here, you're just using all the built-in Linux kernel stuff to do it. Let's do sudo systemctl enable. Oh, I think I need to reload the... No, not that. It's daemon reload? There we go. Do daemon reload, and then we'll do enable Docker. I'm using Podman since I enjoy struggling, I guess. I've not messed with Podman. I just use the straight up Docker sometimes. What is this? System control enable Docker. All right, let's just see if it works. Okay. So then let's check the status of Docker. Is it running? Yep, okay, cool. So it's running. So now, if we... So let's make a directory. Hold on. CD. Let's make a directory called tools. CD over to tools. And then we're going to make another directory called... what do we going to call this? Worser. And then what we'll do is we will actually build this out over in here real fast. So we're going to make this a Docker file. And then what we want is from... Oh, I didn't install the Docker extension? Yes, definitely install that. Because it's super helpful, especially for building these Docker files. Do I need to restart? So from... Really? You're not gonna help out here? You're killing me, Smalls. Let's see. So this just needs Python 3. So let's do Docker Python 3. Oh wait, actually I want to do this real quick. I want to go add this user to the Docker. All this is doing is going to add the Kali user to the Docker group, and then that user will be able to do this. Now, that's actually kind of an unsafe modification to make, because if this user can spawn privileged containers, they can actually pivot back to the underlying system. Don't you have to import something? We're going to have to tell it what base image to use. So let's go look at that. So let's do Python 3 Docker image. Let's do tags. I think we could just tell it to pull Python and it will pull whatever the latest is. What's the latest tag? So which version of Python is this? It should be like the latest Python 3 version, right? Almost 4 a.m. All right, man. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in, dude. Yep. I understand. I actually went and took my my night pills while after I was coming back from the other room, because I only got like... So I took a 30-minute nap this afternoon. With that, I think I barely scrubbed 4 hours of sleep. I just stayed up way too late last night, and I had to get up early to take the kids. So... Linux AMD 64. You know, we're just going to pull this. We're just going to get the latest Python version. Or actually, hang on. Let's go check Coercer. Does it have a particular version of Python it needs? Doesn't say. Okay. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just tell it from the latest version. So from... Actually, I kind of hate that. There we go. We'll just do it from 3919 Slim. So we'll do from... I think that's... No, not Docker pool. Am I thinking about this completely wrong? It's been a while since I had to write a Docker file. Docker file example. I gotta remember what the frickin' syntax is. Yeah, so from there, set the working directory. You can copy stuff, but really all we need to do is just to run a command, and the command will be Python 3, yada yada. Docker file. And then let's do CMD. Why is none of the IntelliJ stuff like popping in? Oh, I'm in restricted mode. That's why. Isn't that why? Do I need to just save this file or something? Yeah. Killing me, Smalls. I think we can just drop in the Python 3 command. I don't believe we have to parameterize it like he was doing. We can take out sudo, because it's going to be running as root. Python pip install coercer, and then we need to set the entry point. What does it do this setup? All right, we'll just set the entry point to coercer. There's the copy command, there's the run. How do you have a whole damn document about building a Docker container, but you don't have an entry point? Kill me, Smalls. VS Code's a lot of help sometimes, but yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Docker file reference. There we go. Entry point. Thank you. That's the exec form. That's the shell form. Yeah, so it should just be entry point coercer here. Do we even need to... I think just like that. Coercer. We're going to try this. So what we'll do is we're going to vim a Docker file. Drop that in here. And then what we'll do is we'll just try and build this real quick. We'll find out. We're going to find out. First, we fuck around. Then, we find out. So let's do Docker build tact coercer. And then I was going to call it latest so I don't have to specify another tag later. And I think it should be that. Oh, damn it. It's because might actually have to restart the entire... Oh, there we go. So it's working now. Emux. Hey, quit chewing on that, you little rat. Huh. Look at her, she's chewing on my damn ankle brace. Hang on, guys. Little turd dog. Let's see. Tools. Oh, for some reason we're in the root right. That's weird. Oh wait, I know. So look, we're in. So right now we're not inside Tmux. Whatever path you're in, whenever you first spawn the Tmux session, becomes the root for all the subsequent shells. There we go. The tools, coercer. Because so for the group add is why it's doing that. So you know what we're gonna do? Log out. And then when we connect, it should reconnect us, or maybe not. Shit, I hope I didn't just break it. We might have to reboot the box. Ah, there we go. Cool. All right. So back here. Tmux. Build. There we go. So we had to kill our basically our desktop session, so that way when it respawned it got our new group permissions in there. Okay, so let's do Docker run IT RM coercer. Oh, you know what I just realized? I think command is actually part of the entry point. It's been a little bit since I had to build a Docker. Let's go look. Yeah, that's great. So command is actually specified the default command. We should have used run. Run will actually tell it, hey, do this shit during the build process. There we go. So execute a command to do here. So that's where we messed it up. So, vim docker file. That's the problem here. So let me take this command out. Actually, let me undo that. I want to change this to CMD. Oh, undo. That needs to be CMD. This needs to be changed to run. I believe I can just take that stuff out. And now let's do Docker image RM cursor. There we go. And then now we're going to rebuild it. There we go. Now it's actually doing it. I should have realized that build process was stupid fast. And look at now it's downloading faster. Why the hell did it download so slow for the first time? Cool, so we'll let this build up for just a second. And then what I'll do is I'll take a look at it and I'll show you guys kind of what I do on these. Because whenever you run these tools, they're going to have folders that they're expecting to be persistent. So this will be a little bit of an iterative process where we'll go through and we'll say, okay, we're gonna build it. We're going to then build out a script file that basically just becomes our base tool to run. So anytime we want to run something, we can just go run like /tools/coercer, and then we know we're going to be running the Docker version of coercer. It's funny that the boss fight music started playing as we started doing this. Epic Docker builds. Hello, Panda. Quit chewing on things.
Half back, baby.
Hey, Stealth, what's up, man? This is Panda, by the way, for all the new folks. My little Boston Terrier, who is an absolute spaz. Right now, her heartbeat is going about 10,000 miles an hour. Hello, spaz. Hello, spaz. Yes. No doggy kisses. No doggy kisses. Yeah. She's a sweetie, but she's a boredom chewer. She gets bored. She's like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna chew on some shit. Arr, arr. That's the main thing that gets her in trouble. My favorite chicken eater. Thanks for bringing up that old wound, Stealth. Yeah, so 22. I have a small coop, a chicken coop in the backyard, and I was raising my first little brood of chickens, and it was 4 of them. And they were in a little fenced-in area, but the fence was really weak, and so Panda busted into it and ate 3 of them. Yeah. I thought she might have eaten the 4th one, because I couldn't find it. 3 days later, the 4th one shows up on the back porch. Yeah. One of them, there was literally nothing but feet left. I'm still mad at you. You're lucky you're cute. Yeah. So she was very interested today. So right now I've got another brood. So I have the one chicken, the survivor, because she was the survivor. She got a name. That one's Goldie. But I have another brood of 6 right now. That's about the capacity I wanted for the coop, was about 6 to 8. And so what I did was I'm currently getting them ready to transition out to the coop full-time, but you can't just take like an existing brood of chickens and introduce new chickens, even if it's just like a brood of 1, because they'll fight. They're not going to play nice. So you have to have them adjacent to each other so they get used to one another. So I've got a thing set up to partition off Goldie from the chickens. So the chickens have the run of the coop. Goldie's kind of isolated. And we're going to keep doing that for the rest of the week and then start moving them out there, so let them just kind of hang out. Just ate them. No dipping sauce. Nope, she raw dogged it. In fact, when she got sick, and I told the vet that, she was like, okay, well, maybe we need to do a salmonella test just to be on the safe side. I was like, this was a couple of weeks ago, but why not? I have no idea why she's sick. All right, so now let's see if we can get our Docker container to run. Failed to create shim OCI runtime path failure, run secret, unable to start container process. Sure. Courser L. Yeah, I hope so. I think probably, because we've been doing that for a couple days now. Probably on Wednesday, I'll sit out there and I'll actually have to observe them and see what. Actually, no, I can't. Shit, because Wednesday's not going to work. But Thursday, probably what's going to happen is I'll sit out there and I'll introduce them and I'll let Goldie actually interact with her and make sure she's playing nicely. So. But it's kind of a funny situation. Hang on, let me see if I can find something. There we go. So here's a picture from inside the coop. There we go. So this was my solution. This was an old dog kennel, and I cut holes in it. This is Goldie right here. There's the new chickens, and so Goldie can pop her head out and she can drink. She doesn't get to eat, so I don't put the chickens out immediately. So she can eat in the morning, she can eat in the evening. But during the day, she's not eating. She's just getting used to the chickens, and so she's just kind of in there. So she pops her head out, and the chickens kind of just go around and do their thing. For the most part, the chickens just have to basically get their brood smell all over the chicken coop. Yeah, so there's 2 on this side, 2 on the other side, and there's 1 on this side. So she can peek around and see kind of what's going on. But it's so far working out. I've been doing this, I think, since Saturday. And so I'm hoping come Thursday I can let them interact. Because if not, I got to try and find someone to chicken sit. Not something I'd ever thought I'd have to deal with. So these little feeders are pretty cool. It's got a little hook in here, or a little cup, so they can stick their head in and feed, and it holds 5 gallons of chicken food. So, super handy. All right, so I don't remember where I... Let me try something. Okay, so that's it. So I think we have to set the command and the entry point. I think that's it. Let's see. Docker. Let's see if they have a copy of the Docker file in here. Yeah. Here we go. This is something I like to do is I'll go find a tool that I know has a Docker file, and I'll just use it as a guide. So there we go. So there's the entry point is what they're setting. So we need to run in... Okay, so it shouldn't have been command, it should have been entry point. That should have been what we set on it. Actually, you know what? I want to run that again. Because what I want to do is... exit, bash. So this is the bash shell inside the Docker container. And the Docker containers, they're not virtualization. It's best to think of them just like really advanced chroot jails, where you can restrict a little bit more of the stuff going on them. It's using kernel namespaces to actually control all this stuff. But what we can do is we could just run coercer from in here, but that's not exactly what I want. But what I can do is switch coercer. There we go. So what we'll do is we're going to set this as the entry point. Copy. Exit. And what we'll do is we'll bend the Docker file. So we don't want command coercer. What we want is entry point. Drop that in there. That should do it. So now... not what I want to do. Let's get rid of the coercer image, and then what we'll do is we'll build it again. So I have actually, the whole reason I started doing this, believe it or not, is I was working on an old janky version of Kali on a testing system, and I've since replaced that system, but at the time, that was the only thing I had to work with, and I could not get Nmap NSC scripts to run. No matter what, I could do regular stuff to run, but Nmap NSC scripts always segfaulted, just died. So I started tinkering around with it, messing with it. Finally, I built a Dockerized version of Nmap, or I think I maybe downloaded it, and that gave me the idea to start Dockerizing other stuff. Now, there's an entire toolkit designed around this called Exegol. Exegol, you know, from a group called the Porgs. Now, I'm personally not a fan of the Disney fanfics, but I respect the theme. This thing's actually an entire Docker setup. And it's basically like an entire pen testing environment inside Docker. So if you didn't want to run Kali, you could actually come through and do just about everything you need to. I think pretty much anything you could want to inside of Exegol. They've got a really good Discord too. There's lots of nice folks in there willing to help out with stuff. So I'm going to drop a link to this over in the chat. It's a really cool tool. Sponsored by Capgemini. They do pretty cool work too. New release of pip is available. I don't give a shit if a new release of pip is available. So for some reason the build process failed, which is what we had, but this is why I like doing Docker container. Just found dev hack Twitch 2 nights ago. Which one? 22, because if he's not on InfoSec streams, I'd like to add him. For the new folks also, InfoSec streams is a really cool site. You see, like, we're listed right here. DJ Chateau is another cool guy, always doing some kind of hacky shenanigans. A lot of times, like CTF stuff. And so, a lot of times, I'll go right over to him whenever the stream is done. Because he and I are usually the only two that are on this late at night. Oh, you just found Twitch? Really? Welcome, man. Twitch is it's a pretty fun platform. The Nova Penguin is online. Excellent. All we need now is the Quasar Otter, and our army will be complete. We didn't change anything. Why the hell is it erroring out? The last build process literally, we didn't change this line here. All we changed was the entry point. Why would the build process fail now? Kill me, Smalls. International Space Station. Hey, Rhythm Dragon, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome, welcome. What the hell is it doing? Is it giving us the same error we had when we were installing it locally? I don't usually have this much issue just doing a very basic Docker setup. Of course, the playlist is actually from the Heartbound OST. Oh no, hold on, I think it's music. There. Heartbound is a what is it? It's kind of like a single-player RPG, like adventure game, and so they've not open source, but they allow the entire OST, which is like 120 songs, I think, to be used for streaming and background music, basically, as long as you're not just re-uploading the stuff directly. So that's what we're doing. Let me go drop a copy of that over to YouTube for folks. What the hell's it doing, man? Now I wish I actually hadn't deleted the Docker file previously. So typically what's happening here, we're building images, right? The image is just like a computer image. And then you make copies of that image and you build those into containers. The containers are the actual thing that runs. So if hindsight being 2020, if I hadn't deleted the previous container and then I went through and I did this, each of those steps generates a new layer. So we have 3 steps in there, right? So from Alpine, run this thing, and then also set the entry point. We could have actually used those previous 2 layers to make this all run. I have no one really talk seriously about security or code. Dude, it's awesome. Hey, check out, hop on the Discord. It's not super busy, but man, it's a great place to chat. It's a small, tight-knit group right now. I need to finish setting up StreamerBot so I don't have to manually copy this stuff over. Seems like the Python package download is timing out. It wouldn't surprise me, Nova, because I'm in Texas, I'm in Dallas, and so even being in Dallas, out of pretty much largely the path of Hurricane Beryl, the internet has been kind of shit today. It was shit at home, it was shit at the office. So I think the hurricane has and somehow affected a lot of this, or affected a lot of the networking traffic here in Texas. Earlier, when this was downloading, it was downloading at like 5 kilobytes a second. It was crazy. Turtle Network, man. Dude, now I'm just envisioning like, say Turtle Network, man. I'm gonna try running this again. We'll just see if it works. Eventually, it's got to run. So what I'm envisioning now, that you say that, is something like... Hold on. Change this. Make it green. Why not? Like a turtle, but like his shell, right? It's like a router, like a Cisco router. Guy's little head. He's like a router, like a little Cisco router. I gotta go. I gotta go talk to my artist. Maybe I can have her make that for me. Because right now we've got the sunburn crab, and so I haven't been getting sunburned lately, like I had been. So maybe I can replace the sunburn crab with the network turtle. Alright, it's doing stuff. I think we got further than last time. Because previously it errored out at copying SLXX writer. We got past that point. Now we're on tompacket. So hold on to your butts. Oh, I need to make that. There we go. On.
Hold on to your butts.
I need to make that a sound alert. I'm going to leave this up so I remember to do that. Catch up what's going on. Hey, Serge. So right now we're just tinkering around in the game of Active Directory Lab. So we've got it deployed in Ludus, which is such a cool tool. I've really been enjoying it. And I can't wait to like start digging a little bit more into customizing it. So the website is just ludus.cloud, Ludus. And what we did is we deployed this right here, the game of Active Directory Lab. And it's basically, think of this. Did everything just crap out on me? Oh, thank God. Stupid NVIDIA drivers. Think of this as like damn vulnerable Active Directory Lab. That's what this is supposed to be. There's just tons of paths to take with it. And so we're just tinkering with it right now as part of getting used to Ludus. Because eventually what we're going to do is we're going to kind of start with this as maybe a base idea. And then we'll expand it. We'll build something that's like a multi-forest domain. Something a little bit more for Active Directory testing and geared towards red teaming as opposed to penetration testing. And what I want to do is also start introducing basically like C2, let's call them modules. So all this right now is one range. That's what it's called. This is a C2 range. What I'd like to do is then have different ranges that we can slot in that have different tool sets to them. So maybe we go create a range that's like a Mythic C2, or just one that's, hey, we deploy a Docker host range. And then now we've got a host system in there where we can just go run whatever Docker systems that we want. So like Mythic C2, that runs in Docker. So it'd be really fun to kind of tinker with that and start customizing it. Because eventually there's lots of things I'd like to do, like maybe have like a Zig development host that we could just drop in here. Bam, now we've got another range that literally is just maybe a host, a workstation, and a server, and they're connected by Active Directory, and we can test out certain things with that. So I'm kind of tinkering with the idea of it. Because I want to do some Zig malware development. I also want to do a little bit more fine-tuning on red teaming. There's some feature improvements to Mythic C2 I want to see about making. So lots of stuff. We're just, that's why there's the FAFO hashtag. We're fucking around and we're gonna find out. Oh, let's go check the buildings. Hey, stuff is happening. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. Hello, Panda. You act like I just ignore you all day. Alright, so this is still building, which is a good sign. Yeah, this lab is actually really cool. And also, so while this is building, they've got environment guides set up. The setup for Ludus is actually pretty simple. If you've got a machine to support the hardware, you just install Debian 12, you get that running, you run the Ludus installer, and it pretty much just handles everything. It's very auto-magical. And what it does is it builds on top of Proxmox here. So initially, this is actually the 4th iteration of just spinning up the lab. What we had done was first thing I tried, I had a bunch of issues with getting Debian to work. Grub kept crapping out on the server for some reason. I think it had something to do with the RAID controller. I'm not sure. So after some troubleshooting, found out that if I installed Debian 12, with everything in a single partition, it failed like 80% of the time. It might boot once, but then it just failed to, Grub would just shit itself. Then found out that if I installed Proxmox, it works. So we tried doing Proxmox and then overlaying Ludus on it, but then a lot of the auto configuration that Ludus does in Proxmox doesn't happen. So learned a bit more about what Ludus is doing by having to troubleshoot that, but it's still a suboptimal condition. So wiped the server again. I did numerous reinstalls. Finally, I figured out, I was like, you know, Proxmox worked every single time. Proxmox doesn't do a traditional partitioning scheme. It uses logical volume management, LVM. So decided, okay, you know what? Hey, maybe there's something going on here where Grub can't read the entire partition because it's 8 freaking terabytes and Grub is very tiny code. So the server has 4 2-terabyte SSDs in it. So it has a lot of throughput and a lot of storage. So finally, we get the entire process spun up. Sure enough, installing Debian with the LVM manager allowed it to get a stable boot, no issues. So then we were able to get it. So this is actually like the 4th iteration of just trying to get Ludus up and running, but not through any fault of Ludus. It was all just fighting freaking Debian. Freaking Debian, you're killing me, Smalls. I don't know why I'm talking like the Godfather, but Smalls from the Sandlot. Buonasera. Buonasera. Yep. Alright, cool. So it's still installing. Like I said, look at this, 26.2 kilobits. I have a 1 gig synchronous line at my house. So this, not cool. Very not cool. I want to try something. So this might be an anomaly with how it's routing through the Debian router. Because as I'm sitting here looking at it, I still, even with the shitty network connections, I'm still getting 200 up and down. So I'm willing to bet this might be because of the Debian router. Because if we look at the network topology here, what we actually have is there's a Debian router that handles getting traffic in and out of the range in here. And that's there because you want to restrict things like a lot of these servers, we don't want them to have internet access. Particularly not when we're going to be doing malware development. We want to get them set up, get them snapshotted, and have them have like a solid base defender image, and then be able to work on it from there. Let's see. So again, another reason why it might be beneficial to not do it this way, but then have our own Kali system set up like Laughing was doing. Let me go find something real quick. So if y'all didn't know this, Broadcom purchased VMware, and everybody was very concerned about that. Well, they actually did something kind of cool with the asterisk there to it, and they made a free version of Workstation that you can use at home. So let's do VMware Workstation CTF. CTF to download. This was actually really funny. That was the Game of Thrones CTF. Damn it. So there was a really funny thing where a guy had put together a description of it's such a pain in the ass to get a download of VMware Workstation, the free version from Broadcom, that they called it the Broadcom CTF. And so if you finish the CTF, your prize was you got to download VMware Workstation. Download Broadcom. There we go. So look at this. People are having to make freaking guides for it. Maybe they cleaned up the process because they were getting memed on pretty good on social media. So we'll have to go supply for account. So I might try to go do this. Even though that's not exactly what I want to do. You know what I might do, actually? Because this interface works well. It's just that Debian router that's kind of slowing things down. So what I might do is just go deploy a standalone Kali image out here, put WireGuard, Chasm VNC on it so I can have this very similar connection to it, and then be able to connect to it and then have all this stuff zip over to it. I think that would be the better solution because my host computer has plenty of resources to it. Let's see. That's never a good sign. That means my computer's spazzing out. Whenever I can't access Task Manager when it opens up like this. Quit spazzing. No spaz. It's probably because I have 10,000 Chrome tabs open. Well, I'll check it later. See if it comes up. Oh god, it's spazzing out the whole computer. That was a mistake. Shouldn't have run Task Manager. Ultimate self DDoS. Close the program. Here. Cool. Yeah, because this should have installed a lot faster. Alright, cool. But it did finally finish. So, let's go find our run command. Yeah, now we're talking. Alright. So now I gotta remember what I was even doing with Courser. What I was gonna do was scan. So I think we would scan certain hosts. Is it not taking the... It's not taking the arguments that we supplied? Oh, damn it. It's because we specified the... we specify, there's two different ways to specify the entry point. If you specify the entry point the way we did it, it's a flat run this command. This way actually specifies it as an exec command, so then you can pass arguments into it, if I'm understanding it correctly. Oh, no, I did not mean to do that. Search backwards, build. No, that's not right. Yeah. See how we specified it? So we need to wrap this here, if I remember correctly. So now if we rebuild it, I'm going to build it again, and what should happen is it should build instantly because it's going to reuse the layers from the current image, and we should be good. See that? Using the cache. So all the pip3 shit just went to it. Once I get a stable configuration, I'll go clear out the old images. But let's look what happens here. So if I do Docker images, I think it's ls. Here we go. So this one got unnamed when that happened. This one was coercer with the tag latest. Now this one took over that spot. So if we want to delete it, we get to specify the image ID if we wanted to, but I don't want to. See, now it's actually passing the shit into it. What's up, guys? She was asleep. She heard me moving. I'll throw Panda Cam up there. I keep forgetting to turn it on, actually, because for a while she was sequestered for retraining after her chicken buffet. Yeah, I'm talking about it. Alright, cool. So now, let's see what we need to do about the scan. So we've got our cool little Docker tool set up. So if we can just specify one target, so we'll do 10.3.10.11. Is that the one I want to do? Maybe? Shit, where's our notes? Don't save. We want to try. We have server 2 and server 3. So that one is server 2. So yeah, so let's go grab server 2, which is 10.3.10.22. So if it can find something to coerce a response with no credentials, that's basically kind of like what the Petit Podum exploit was. A lot of times those coercions still work, you just need to have user credentials for it. And so, but this would be really fun to check out because we only very briefly touched on coercion doing the RTO lab. And it was usually with something like sharp spool trigger. Host timed out. What? What? Oh, because that port's not even exposed, is it? Because it's trying to connect to the RPC port. I forget what that default is. Urgh, damn it. Let's try 11. Let's try 11. I'm trying to find fun ways to get the initial foothold that's not just in the official write-up that Mayfly did. Mayfly's the guy who developed the Goad Lab. try something real quick. 1:35 p.m. T, and then oh, you know, I gotta CD too. Good. There we go. Let's see. Let's run nmap again. So I want to see if anybody has the RPC port open, which is 135. Tech in. Do a full connect scan, and look for targets in our targets list for SMB. Yeah, it's filtered on all of them. That's what I thought. So let's go try something. Let's go over to server 2. Let's get a console connection onto it. I want to check the firewall and see if we can do if we can permit that through here. Yeah, so our firewall is turned on. So let's do advanced settings. Inbound rules. Let's check something real quick here. Let's do CMD. Let's do a net stat. ANOP, TCP. Yeah, see, we have 135 of listening, which it should. It's a default Windows configuration. Let's just try making a new rule here. Let's go to port. John Techie, what's up, man? Thanks for coming online. Welcome. We're gonna see if we can just allow port 135 on server 2. I just want to see what happens. Allow the connection. Name, allow RPC. We'll just make a quick firewall rule here. Alright, so now let's go try this sucker. So what was this IP address? This should have been .22, right? Yeah. 10.3.10.22. So what we'll do is we'll just run that one particular host. 10.3.10.22. Alright, cool. So now it's showing that it's open. So now if we run Worser against 22. See, now it's able to connect to it. Perfect. Let's see if it can find anything in here. This is a tool I also had wanted to stress test more. I discovered it during another penetration test, and so I kind of tinkered with it a little bit. But until I've gotten to actually like beat the code out a little bit, test it out, try different things with it, understand exactly what it's telling me and what it's not telling me, I don't like to rely on it. We might just have to go turn off the firewall for this test. What I'm gonna go do real quick is Kali ISO
bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
All right, are we alive again? I have entirely too much shit running on my computer. Holy crap. Dude, OBS just ate it hard. Ooh, let me turn on. Ooh, that scared me. All of a sudden, I just look up and my computer just spazzed. The amount of shit I have running is too damn high. I probably need to wipe this computer and start from scratch. I was going to have a Kali ISO running in the back end, but I think I'll just leave it for now. All right, I want to do something real quick. I want to just turn off the firewalls. And then I want to try running Courser again. There we go. Cool. So without the firewall, it's able to come through and find stuff here. So Courser, it can scan, but I think it can also actually attack these. Let me go check the docs. Yeah, with 4 kills. Yeah, no kidding, man. What sucks is I think that's going to cause... I think that's going to cause Twitch to split it into 2 streams, which is kind of annoying. Let me go look at something. Where's Courser? Oops. That was our example. Here's Courser. Got too many damn tabs open and too many Chrome windows. That's what the problem is. Oh, so there's a coerce mode actually in Courser. Okay. Yeah, it's listed right there. So let's see. So let's make again, let's take some notes. Let's copy this out. Drop this in. Yeah. So scan mode started. So what it found is successful bind to this particular interface right here. So what do we need for the coercer mode? So we're going to need the target IP address, okay? So let's go ahead and specify that. So target is 10.3.10.22. Then what else do we need here? You know what? I wonder what happens if I just run it with that. Oh, we need to specify the listener IP, the TACL. So that's going to be 10.3.10.99, which is us. And what we'll do is we'll run responder here, just as an example, because if we can catch the hash in responder, then we should be able to relay it. So we're just going to run responder in analyze mode. Running it in analyze mode is really crucial too, like when you are trying to be stealthy on the line. All done. Damn it. So it's updated enough to where we can't do the on-off coercion in here. But one thing we could do, though, is once we get a basic set of user credentials, we go look at the lab here. What we can do is, let's say we land on this machine right here. We get a basic set of user creds. If we can get that to DCO2, if we can coerce DCO2, then what we can do is have it come down, basically coerce to us. We can then... what can we do with that? That may not work. Come to think of it. Hold on, I gotta think about this. No, because actually, yeah, we could do that. What we could do is we could have. Shit, I'm trying to think about it. I shouldn't have to think this hard about it. We did this shit a whole bunch in the RTO lab. Crap, I have to. Why am I drawing such a blank on this? So I literally just did all of this in the RTO lab. Must be tired. Let me think about this. So, because part of the problem is you cannot relay back to the same server. A lot of the attack paths I'm thinking about deal with things like constrained and unconstrained and delegations. Let me think about this. Because I mean, we could easily go capture the system hash for DCO2. The problem is you cannot relay to the same target. So you'd have to go through and we'd need another domain controller we could relay to. Unfortunately, there's only the one. Now, if there was something else we could relay the domain controller to, that would work. Damn it, I need to go double check something in the notes. I'll do that a little bit. So let's go look at the write-up from Mayfly, because I wondered what he had set up for. I think it's down here at the bottom. The code guide. I gotta close all this shit. Too many tabs open. This is showing that some of these should have had signing as true, but I don't think any of ours had signing as true. All of ours have signing as false. So we're getting a little bit different information, because look at this. This is completely different from like what we're getting over here with our machine. See, we're not getting Bravos Winterfell, Marine Castle Black, King's Landing. We're getting like the name of the machine on there. And I wonder if that's a configuration inside the router. So let's go do something. Let's go get a console connection to the router here. Login, I think, is root password. So if we do, I think I can blow this up at all. No, I can't. Netstat, plant. Of course, Netstat's not. SSANOP. We're using AdGuard Home for this. So we've got stuff running on 22, 23. AdGuard Home? Big file location. Where's the configuration file for this? It's an Etsy AdGuard. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit to make it easier for y'all to read. So what we're looking at here is this is the router that's built into the Ludus lab here. So if we just want to look at something. So this is Etsy. Really, there's nothing here in AdGuard. System CTL status. Interesting. Service? Yes. Are there any services? I forget what it is. Because this says Adguard. Oh, that's on an open WRT. Maybe it's an opt? Yeah, there it is. Or you know what? Actually, let me look at something. Let's see. Yeah, it's not in there. It's an opt. I think it's that Adgar.yaml. There we go. Now we're talking. So upstream DNS is Cloudflare. It's using the AdGuard filter list and something Windows Spy Blocker. Oh, cool. Yeah, so here's our DHCP setup here. Okay, so look at this. So it's just listed as DCO1, DCO2, 3. So we're getting a little bit different information using Ludus. So I don't know how we might be able to make that work a little bit cleaner in here, right? Because what we should be seeing is something like this, right? I know that's probably hard to read, but we should actually be seeing like the actual host names, like what's laid out here in the network diagram. This is Castle Black, Winterfell, King's Landing, Marine or something, Bravos. We should be seeing those host names coming up in here. And that should be coming back from SMB, but they're not showing up like that. And look at the domains should have been showing up. We should have seen asos.local, north.7kingdoms local, 7kingdoms.local. So we're seeing some stuff in here, but it's not a one-to-one translation. I mean, we did get 5 hosts back, right? We only got 4. See that? We got those 4 hosts. There's one missing. Let's see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so there's one that there's an extra one we should have seen in here. DCO3. So that's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. That's what that is. Let's just look at the guide and see what else he had actually coming back as this. Let me blow this up a bit. Oh, there, that makes it a lot more readable. So here's what we should have been seeing, right? And it's funny that he's doing this in Exegol. That's pretty cool. So CME, SMB, he's scanning just the entire network range and finding all the different host names and the relative domains that they're in, right? Try something. That's Debian. Go back over to DCO. Oh, okay, so it configured it as DCO1 instead of who that's supposed to be. So I wonder. Let's go look at ADUC. This machine did it not join to Active Directory? goes. Let's see. Yep. Echo percent. What is this? This is user domain. Yeah, see, it's just showing itself as a domain. So these aren't, these didn't even join together. So the deployment either didn't complete properly or is completely different from Code. Do user DNS domain. Oh, wait, hold on, that's a little bit different here. Actually, what we want is, because this is for this particular user, this user is on here. So if we do system info, pipe, find string, blow this up a bit so y'all can see this. So we're gonna do system info, find string. Then what we're gonna search for B, C, and we're gonna look for the string domain. Yeah, look at this. Domain is workgroup. So this isn't even joined to a domain. Okay, so suboptimal. So what I might do is go blow this whole thing away and start it again. We're not going to be working in the lab tomorrow night anyway. Tomorrow night's going to be doing some more try hack me with Salty. So not a huge issue, just a little bit weird. Not sure how to kind of address that. I'll have to ask the guys over in the Ludus Discord. They're really great over there. They're very responsive to questions. Wait, let's go look at the guide again real fast here. So he's using CME. He's getting a lot of domain information, stuff that we're getting, but not the same information. So there's a couple different domains. And then they're able to query the DNS from this. That explains why we didn't see DNS listed here, because there's no active directory set up. That makes a lot of sense. This is a cool trick right here too. Look up _LDAP, _TCP, DC, MSDSE. And I don't remember this. I always have to go look it up. But this is a nice way to get a list of all the domain controllers in a domain by just running that. And you can see this example here. Look, he runs this again, 7kingdoms.local. Points it to that DNS, bam, we get the server IP. And if there's multiples, you'll get actually multiple IPs back. Oh, this is a great example. So he goes over how to set up your host file too for this. Things that you'll want to be set up. So Winterfell, local, stuff like that. Now this is a bit extreme. I wouldn't go set up curb 5 conf like this. That's a bit much. I don't know. You could do this. Typically though, the KDC, like that's the domain controller for that domain. I would just specify then whatever tooling I'm using. That's funny because Khal Drogo's password is horse. Now, how did he get horse, though? That's literally the only mention of the word horse, so he's just kind of walking through how to, like, start this. Maybe this is an assumed breach user, right? Okay, cool little write-up on it. We saw we got trouble on Winterfell. Is Arya Stark's password, which is Needle. Funny. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to see about what we can do about cleaning this up and how to get this, because right now what's happening is this is what this should look like. Right? It should, like, these two machines should be joined to a domain. These two should be joined to a domain. This guy should be his own domain, and then they should have trust relationships and a SQL link running But we ain't got shit right now. But that's all right. It's all part of the learning process. All part of the show. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. That seems like a decent place to stop for the night. A little underwhelming, but you know what? Not every day of discovery is fantastical. Let's see. Is DJ still on? Yeah, we're just going to go right over to DJ. He's a cool guy. So, all right, everyone. Sorry for the technical glitches. Sorry, not sorry. Shit happens. That's why it's part of learning. This is the kind of stuff that you do to really up your game, is like go through and see, how do I configure stuff? How do I break it apart? What's happening inside? And then how can I adjust it? Remember, most hacking is just unauthorized system administration. Or in my case, authorized and for pay, which is great. Sometimes it sucks. It's like any other job. Oh, you know what? I just realized, I think y'all have been talking in chat and I've been completely missing it. Yeah, it worked. There you go. All right, so let's go give Mr. Chateau a raid out. All right, everyone. I hope y'all have a fantastic night. Tomorrow night, we're going to do some Try Hack Me with Salty. I missed it last week. You know, last week was a weird week because of I was preparing for I had my exam, and then we were doing 4th of July, so looking forward to getting back to it with him. So we'll hit that up tomorrow night. But I just want you all to know one thing. I love you. Peace.